I'm not in a very calming mood. So the song wasn't going to do its job today. As you can probably tell by the title of tonight's stream, I'm pretty frustrated. I think I'm not the only one at this moment in time. The whole contract saga, to me, it's just getting into a distraction point. We're going to talk tonight about, of course, the Marcus story that came out last night. I'm pretty angry right now at where we are because as a football club, we're in a great place. Nobody's going to sit here and say otherwise. We're top of the league. We're chugging along nicely. Aaron has come in, done really well. And we keep hearing all the same phrases put out over and over and over again. The club are working relentlessly. The club are working tirelessly. The club are doing everything they can, etc., etc. But what we haven't seen yet is any results from any of this working tirelessly. And it's getting to a point now where I think many Liverpool fans are starting to feel frustrated. And that frustration is coming out in different ways. Some are taking their frustrations out on players. Some are taking it out on their fellow fans. Some are taking it out on the club. And I guess where I want to go with this tonight is I'm taking it out on the club. Now, I don't really mind if you think the club means Richard Hughes, Michael Edwards, John W. Henry, Tom Werner, whomever you think is responsible for these decisions. I'm okay with that. For me, I think this is a disgrace. And I think that once again, we are seeing a club that makes the relatively simple stuff very difficult. Now, you're going to be told by the media and by journalists that want to just support the club, that it is a tricky process, that these things aren't straightforward. Well, all we can do as fans is look at what other clubs have done. And we've seen other clubs handle these situations far quicker than we have. And I think, as a fan base, ladies and gentlemen, us Liverpool fans have been more than calm about this contract situation dragging on. We understood that there was a new manager. We understood that there was a new sporting director. We understood that people were getting their feet under the table. But you know what? The goodwill for me is gone at this point because it's becoming a distraction. It's becoming something that, because of the cheapness of the club, could destabilise a brilliant season. Now, it may not destabilise it, and I'm not here to be the doom merchant, but what I am saying is it's entirely avoidable. And I'm getting fed up of hearing about how hard everyone's working and how great they are, because ultimately there's been no results. And there is no logical reason why they can't get these contracts sorted out. Particularly with the two players that we know want to remain here. We don't know what's going to happen with Trent, and we'll talk about that tonight as well. So I just wanted to do an intro tonight that was a little bit different, to give you a flavour of where I'm going to go with this stream. Because I'm pretty frustrated, and I'm not blessed with patience as a human being. I'll be the first one to admit that. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm an emotional fella, but I'm angry. I'm angry at a time where I should not be angry. I'm angry at a time where I should be just happy with where the club is. But once again, the club are finding a way to make us fucking frustrated. And I'm really annoyed by that. So I want to know how you guys are feeling about it. Who you think is responsible? Or do you think maybe we're all making a mountain out of a molehill? Because I'm open to that as well. Mo and Van Dijk should be the priority. Trent can do one, said Football Cartoon and Fanatic. And just man like Spence, to go back to your question, the other two, I'm 99% certain they're staying. So I'm really relaxed about the Virgil and Mo situation because, to the best of my understanding, you know, that's going to be done. You know, I feel confident to say that. I don't think there's going to be any hiccups on those two. I think they will be done. White Hammer, thank you, said, are Liverpool not able to do contracts? ... Canade. I don't understand. If I'm going to be entirely honest, my anger's with the club. It is, because the players are in difficult positions to some extent. But the club can control this narrative. The club can control this situation. And the question I keep coming back to is, why hasn't Mohamed Salah and Virgil been done and announced yet? Even pushing aside Trent for a minute, those two, they want to stay. And the club, the only reason I can think of that the club haven't yet sorted them is because they're cheap. I can't think of any other reason. They both want to stay. Why isn't it sorted? If we're penny pinching and putting this at risk again, that's a disgrace. Plague 9 Vive says, honestly, I think Liverpool fans are making more drama than necessary. We're on a supreme run and they're on about OMG, we're losing Trent. No, we're on about OMG, we haven't sorted 3 fucking contracts for 3 senior first team players. And you think we should be happy about this? You don't think this is a problem? That one, it was let to get to this point? Because let's be honest, the brain trust, the geniuses, have let it get here. And when you've got Paul Joyce and other journalists coming out and saying, whatever way you look at this, the club have shit the bed by letting the situation get this far. I don't think losing our shit for no reason here. I think we're perfectly within the boundaries of sensibility to say that this situation shouldn't have arose and shouldn't be dragging on this long. It's unnecessarily dragged out. And that's something I see over and over and over again in fans' comments. Is this was avoidable? This isn't a good look. This makes us look petty. This makes us look cheap. Or else the guys don't know what they're doing. It's one or the other. You know? There's no reason for it. It wouldn't happen at another club. It wouldn't. It would be sorted. And like, we're not talking about one here. So there's been situations before where City have let a contract run down towards the end, or United have let a contract run down towards the end. One. We're talking about the best forward probably the Premier League's ever seen, a local boy, generational talent right back, and the best centre back in world football. And the geniuses that run our club have let this happen to save a few quid. If that does not make your blood boil, I give up. Club will announce new contracts for VVD and Mo in January to distract us from them not signing anyone. Rinse and repeat, we've been here and seen it before. I mean, it's not out of the realms of possibility. You know, we're going to have to wait and see on that one. We're going to have to hold firm and see what does happen in January. Honestly, I don't know what the market looks like for us in January. I'm going to go through some links tonight, but I fear we're going to get strung along and we're going to get sold something in the summer for the midfield situation. But let's wait and see. Cal Downs, thank you, mate. And same to you here, said, Happy Christmas, Happy New Year, Craig. In our position, we should be having these contracts boxed off and 1-2 signings to cement our title bid, but likely best get 1 or 2 contracts and nothing else, same old. Again, I can only be honest and say I've no idea what to expect in January. I can absolutely understand why people think that maybe we'll get some renewals and no business and that'll be the club's way of glossing over it. But honestly, if that was the case, I think once again this will be another indication of the club thinking we're idiots. Because surely they can see that fans would see through that at this point. You know, it might have worked for a few windows in the past or whatever with some, but at this point, I don't think people would buy that anymore. I gave you, there's no blame to be had. I gave you Hughes, I gave you the players, and I gave you FSG. So these aren't my votes, so you can't get angry at me. So people say 70% of people said FSG, 14% say Richard Hughes, so 84% think it's something to do with the club. Whether it's Hughes, Edwards, FSG, 84% say that. There's no blame to be had, is 9% of people. And again, I understand that perspective if you're feeling like, you know, still optimistic about everything. And the players, 6%. Now that, I struggle to get to the point to blame the players, to be honest, because the players are always going to be inherently selfish and look after their own interests and their careers because they get one. But I think the club are showing a bit of naivety here and a lack of strength for me.